Hi all, this is Once and Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon challenge. Last week we were in Gen 2 and we asked the question of whether or not I could beat Pokemon Silver with just a single Sentret. A challenge that was actually a lot of fun and not entirely as bad as I thought it would be. This week though, we move on to Gen 3 and answer the question of whether or not I can beat Pokemon Fire Red with just a single Bagon. Now, let's talk about Bagon. It's a first stage pseudo-legendary and mono dragon type. Our ability will be Rock Head, so no recoil damage, that could be useful. We're weak to Ice and Dragon, Fairy wasn't a thing in this generation. We resist Fire, Water, Grass and Electric, all of which have gym leaders using this type in this gen. We've got 300 base stat total, with a quarter of that being our physical attack stat. 75 isn't bad for a first form Pokemon. Everything else except maybe the physical defense is pretty underwhelming. I'm terrified of that low special defense. All pseudo-legendary first stages have 300 BST, barring Dreepy, but there's others in there like Bellsprout, Poliwag, Sandshrew, Pikachu, et al. What about our moves? We do learn Dragon, Fire and Dark moves by level up. Unfortunately, all moves of these types were special in Gen 3 and our special attack is terrible, so that's unfortunate. We do get a few useful normal moves like Headbutt and although it's not until late, Double Edge. That might be nice since we won't take recoil damage. I wish we got Dragon Dance, but that's a breed only move. Via TM and Move Tutor, we do get a few useful fighting and rock moves, Brick Break, Rock Tomb and Rock Slide, which will be nice. We can learn Flamethrower and Fire Blast, but we have the same issues here as with the Learn set. So, nothing really springs out here as majorly useful. Here, even Return probably isn't necessarily as useful as it is in other challenges, as Double Edge without recoil is probably at least on par with it. If you do enjoy what you see throughout, please drop a like, please drop a comment and subscribe your life away. Predictions. We do get Bite at the start, so that'll be useful for Brock. We resist the first few gyms, so I can't see too many issues there. Being honest, until we get to the Elite Four, most of the main challenge is likely going to come from the rival. Once we get to the Elite Four though, Lorelei is likely going to be horrible. Agatha will probably be troublesome, we don't get a great way of dealing with ghosts, and Lance is going to be able to hit us for super effective damage too. I can see us having to be max level for the final champion fight. It can't be as bad as the last Fire Red challenge though I did with Makahita. Just the rules then. In combat, I can only use Bagon. Other Pokemon will be needed for HMs but unable to fight. Only held items and Pokeballs in battle, though I can heal outside of battle. Last of all, no glitches or exploits. Here's a fun fact about Bagon. I always thought those ridges on its head were hair, but given it's called the Rock Head Pokemon, I guess that's probably not the case. Baby Dragon with a grey mullet, cool. Anyway, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Squirtle. It doesn't really make a difference here, but it gives our rival Venusaur. It also gives him Gyarados and Arcanine, who both have Intimidate, which will probably make that team the hardest for us to fight. I nickname our Bagon Icarus, because apparently this Pokemon longs to fly. We have the Relaxed Nature, which is increased defense and lowered speed. I suppose, really, that could have been worse. Anyway, there's then the lab rival fight. We do win this quite easily after some liberal usage of Rage. It's not a move I've ever really had much experience of, aside from knowing that it was broken in Gen 1 and not in a good way either. But we soon take Bulbasaur out and only really taking one blow in the process. Let's get the party started. The first thing I do is head to Route 22 and start EV training the attack stat on Mankey, because we're going to need that as high as we can get it. I'd like to do special defense training, but good luck with that at this point. Nothing gives it until you can start finding Drowsy outside Vermilion City, so I'll go with speed then, with Pidgey, Rattata, Spearow and Pikachu all in the immediate area. That's one way to start a challenge. Go render the native Mankey population extinct by beating 252 of them. Completely senseless. That's natural selection at its finest. I do the same to the native Rattata and Spearow population, getting Bagon up to level 21 and then thinking enough is enough. We're in the slow leveling group, so it takes more experience to level up, which is good at this point I guess, but will be torture later on. Brock is the first major fight, and I reckon Bite will get us through this. His special defense is low, and we're at a higher level. And when the fight starts, Icarus goes Kung Fu biting down on Geodude, taking it out with two of them. Onyx is a little sturdier though. It does manage to land a few rock tombs, but we soon take the giant rock snake out with Bite. There's very few points where it actually looks like we're going to get hurt, never mind lose. In Mount Moon there's a choice over a fossil. I pick one and move on. Once I enter Cerulean City, I decide to go after Misty first. We resist water, but our special defense isn't so special, pardon the pun. I'll see how we match up at level 26. It's an interesting fight. Maybe we could have done it at a lower level, but given how close it was, forget Staryu, that's a one hit with Headbutt. Starmie is faster than though and hits a Water Pulse. Now it's only maybe doing a quarter to a fifth of our health, but it does confuse us. Icarus hits himself in confusion and she continues to hit Water Pulses. We land a Headbutt, Icarus shakes the confusion off, only for the third Water Pulse to confuse us again. Thankfully, we are capable of doing well over half its health with our Headbutt, and with only 4 HP left on Icarus, we fight through confusion to hit another Headbutt and win the fight. It's the rival fight next. We shouldn't have too many problems here as we head to Nugget Bridge. Some of his Pokemon are strong enough to survive our most powerful move in Headbutt, as Pidgeotto proves that it's capable of doing just that before hitting Sand Attack. We take it out with Bite. Rattata hits Quick Attack but goes down to Headbutt. Abra comes out and this would be a good time to miss since it can't attack, but we take it down with Headbutt. Last is Bulbasaur. We land Headbutt and flinch it before taking it down with Bite. I arrive in Vermilion City and head for the SS Anne next. I want the Brick Break TM since it'll be handy versus Ice types. I'll probably have to keep Crunch out of the level up moves for Agatha, but we'll probably muddle through. Between Brick Break, Rock Slide and Double Edge, I should be able to overpower most things. When the rival fight comes, it's mostly a one-shot sweep, as Pidgeotto goes down to Headbutt, Raticate is killed by Brick Break, Kadabra gets folded like a lawn chair with Headbutt, Ivysaur last survives Headbutt, yet flinches, and we finish it with Bite. Surge is next, and he could be interesting. If I avoid Paralysis, then we should be okay. He's more annoying than anything else in Gen 3, in my experience. Voltorb goes down to Headbutt, that's fine. Pikachu also goes down to Headbutt, we don't get paralysed by Static, that's very good. Last is Raichu, and we hit a Headbutt to flinch it, but get paralysed by Static. However, even as he heals it, we land Brick Break to take it out before it can start double teaming. Next is the Slog through Rock Tunnel. I could learn Rock Slide here, but I think I'll hold off for a bit. Anyway, in Pokemon Tower, there's the rival fight, so while I'm here, I decide to see how this one goes. Badly, actually. We lose it in pretty bad circumstances. So Pidgeotto lands Quick Attack but goes down to Headbutt. Gyarados is 2 hit with Headbutt but lowers our attack and hits a crit Thrash. Growlithe intimidates us and then burns us, so our attack is pretty much trash at this point. We do take it and Kadabra out, the latter with Bite, but when Ivysaur comes out, I hit a weak Bite and a combination of Razor Leaf and Burn damage defeats us. And that, folks, is why I replaced Squirtle with Bagon for the challenge. I'll come back after Celadon, I think. In Celadon, I head to the game corner to take on Giovanni first. We've got enough of an advantage over him with Brick Break that I figure he'll be easier than Erika at this moment in time. He's an easy fight as both Onix and Rhyhorn are very quickly shattered into rubble by the almighty Brick Break. Those two were easy. Kangaskhan is made of sturdier stuff though and survives a Brick Break that only hits a weak Bite before we finish her off with Headbutt. Self-scope in hand, we leave. I'll try Erika while I'm in town, see if we can use our head and come up with a way to victory, and by that I mean I'm going to spam Headbutt since they resist Brick Break. This fight is a strange one. Victory Bell is too tanky to fall to Headbutt and immediately paralyses us with Stun Spore, and so I go for Focus Energy, getting hit with Giga Drain and Acid attacks, though it can't really hurt us. When we finally land a Headbutt, it crits thanks to Focus Energy. I call for Crunch on Tangela, as it attacks us repeatedly thanks to Paralysis. Tangela has a very low special defense, so a crit Crunch takes it out. It doesn't really do much to us, thankfully. And Vileplume is in the same boat. It lashes at us with acid attacks, which Icarus shrugs off, and we knock it out with 2 headbutts. With 4 badges in hand, let's go have our rematch with Rod now that we're quite a bit stronger. This one goes a lot smoother. We take Pidgeotto down with Headbutt, and then the first thing we do on Gyarados is Focus Energy. It doesn't crit us with Thrash this time, doing only minor damage, and we then knock it out with a crit Headbutt. Growlithe also goes down to a single crit Headbutt before Kadabra is next, and it quickly goes down to Crunch. Ivysaur is the worst one as I call for Headbutt, and it survives it quite easily with about a third of its health left. Worse, we don't get the flinch, and it puts us to sleep with Sleep Powder. While Icarus is visiting the Sandman, Ivysaur has 3 turns to attack with Razor Leaf attacks, lacerating the Sleeping Dragon. We resist it, but each one does 15 to 20 points of damage. I'm just thankful that it doesn't crit. Anyway, eventually we wake up and put it down with another Headbutt before he runs off and I start to climb the tower. Part of me figures that we're not ready for Koga yet, and so I decide to head to Sylph. I'll clear all the grunts out of there and see how we match up against the rival when we get to him. If we struggle, I'll take the road to Fuchsia City. I make this try at level 55 and we have double edge, so let's see. It doesn't go too bad even if we do lose. Pidgeot is a one hit with double edge. Versus Gyarados, I go for focus energy but don't get a crit throughout the fight. Worse, I get hit with both Dragon Rage and Twister and it does massive damage before I take it out. Growlithe gets hit with double edge but survives and goes for takedown, knocking itself out. It doesn't have a rock head, unfortunately for it. Alakazam survives Crunch and uses Future Sight before we can take it out. Last is Venusaur, who comfortably tanks double edge and then misses Sleep Powder. But before I can celebrate too much, the Future Sight hits and ends the run. Okay, we head to Fuchsia then. I want to get the leftovers too. We'll come back later. So, in Fuchsia City, I make a try on Koga. Curious to see if we can brute force him at this level. When getting to him, we do have a bit of trouble with an invisible wall, but it's not too bad otherwise. When the fight comes, he's easy. His first coughing goes down to double edge, as does the normally tanky Muck. When the second coughing comes out, the result is the same. Double edge knocks it into next week. Wheezing is last, and this one survives double edge and hits a sludge, but we tank it well and promptly fold it with the second one. 5 badges down. Let's head back to Saffron. I go for a similar strategy as before, double edge on Pidgeot, focus energy on Gyarados, and we get hit by Twister. Considering that move is super effective, it's not as bad as it could be. We take it out with a crit double edge. Growlithe then goes down to double edge, and so does Alakazam. Last is Venusaur, and we're actually at full health for this. We hit a double edge, and it lands Poison Powder before we take it out with yet another double edge. That one was easy enough. Next is Giovanni, and this one could potentially be tricky. We don't have super effective moves against the poison types, and we run the risk of getting poisoned off Nidorino or Nidoqueen. It's a worry that I'm right to have, as double edge one hits Nidorino, but poison point afflicts us. Nidoqueen is a 2-hit with double edge, landing double kick. Poison damage actually does more to us than our leftovers heal, which is worrying. Kangaskhan is a 1-hit with Brick Break though, and very quickly afterwards, Rhyhorn goes down the same way. I'll tackle Sabrina while I'm in town. I'm not anticipating problems and I'm right not to either. This fight is incredibly easy as we one-shot sweep her entire team with double edge, her not landing a blow in retaliation. First Kadabra goes down, then Mr. Mime, then Venomoth, then Alakazam. All of them fall very quickly to Icarus. Easier than the last time I faced her in a Fire Red challenge for sure. She domed my Makahita repeatedly back then unfortunately. I will bet that the next one isn't so easy. We'll have a huge issue versus Blaine in the form of a double Intimidate proposition. And I know we resist, but these are our stats at level 65 and that special defence is worrying. I knew it was going to be bad, but when it's 9 points lower than our level, that's the time to be concerned for me. I think Arcanine is going to hurt us bad. We might survive a Fire Blast at full health thanks to our type and our level advantage, but I doubt we'll be full health going into Arcanine. I'm right and I'm wrong. Versus Growlithe, we get a focus energy up and tank a Fire Blast. Thankfully, we don't get burned. We take Growlithe down, we take Ponyta down, we take Rapidash down, all with double edge, utilising our best move to knock them all out. And then Arcanine comes out. We are actually at full health thanks to leftovers. Double edge does slightly under half its health. I hit it with 2 of those moves, hoping for crits, but it lands on red health. Knowing that he's going to heal, I go for Crunch instead and get a special defense drop as he uses the full restore. I use a second Crunch, figuring it'll be a better move now, and we get a crit Crunch on the giant doggo to take it out. Did not see that coming. 7 badges down, time to go. Giovanni is next, again, and it actually goes really smoothly up until Nidoking. The first Rhyhorn goes down to Brick Break. When Dugtrio comes out, it goes down very quickly to Double Edge. Nidoqueen also goes down to Double Edge. Nidoking does go down to a single Double Edge, but Poison Point poisons us. The last Rhyhorn survives Brick Break, he lands an Earthquake, and Giovanni heals it, meaning we're still taking poison damage. We still take it out with 2 Crunches, but it was worrying for a moment. All badges down. I didn't come here at the start of the game to fight the rival. I didn't think I needed to, thanks to that huge level advantage we had back when we were EV farming on the Mankit in this area. That feels a very long time ago. Anyway, we hit a snag in this fight. Pidgeot is now strong enough to survive Double Edge, but only lands Wing Attack before we take it out with Crunch. Gyarados misses Hydro Pump and puts up the rain, but we take it out with 2 Double Edges after using Focus Energy. Rhyhorn survives Brick Break and hits Takedown before we take it out with Crunch. Growlithe just narrowly survives Double Edge and misses Takedown before we take it out with Crunch. Alakazam outspeeds us. This is important as it goes for Calm Mind and then survives Double Edge. It then one hits us from full health with Psychic. Yeah, that's kind of an issue. I go down to Cycling Road and clear the trainers off there to get a few levels, then go do the water route south of Fuchsia and east of Cinnabar to power up. I'll probably need to do it going forward because if we can't win this, we are going to struggle against the Elite Four. I even head to the Sevi Islands to do a bit of grinding up there on the trainers. We make another try at level 76, seeing how we match up after that grind. I hope that is enough because I don't want to go versus Seekering my way around Kanto again just quite yet. This time goes smoother. Pidgeot is a one hit with Double Edge. We focus energy versus Gyarados and it uses Rain Dance before a crit Double Edge takes it out. A crit Brick Break does him Rhyhorn before the next to emerge is Growlithe and we take it out with Double Edge. Versus Alakazam again, it starts to go wrong. We're faster this time, but it survives Double Edge and hits us for over 100 points of damage with Psychic before we take it out with Crunch. Last is Venusaur, and I hit Double Edge, hoping for a crit. It uses Grove. I hit another Double Edge, hoping for a crit, but it survives on red health. It goes for Synthesis, so I use Double Edge, and it goes for Synthesis again, and so I use Double Edge, hoping for a crit. It survives and uses Synthesis. This goes on for a while until it uses Grove, and I finally knock it out with a better late than never crit Double Edge. Woo! I'll take a smash through Victory Road, and by the time we get to the Pokemon League, I'm unsure as to how we'll match up. Here are our stats. Our special defense is still low. Our physical stats are still decent. Comments on whether or not you think I can do this at this level or not are naturally always welcome. Lorelei is first, and this likely will be the hardest of the next 5 fights. Sure, the others may have higher levels, but her ice types are well capable of murdering Icarus on the spot. This will be all or nothing. We one-hit them, or they'll probably one-hit us. It doesn't take long for us to lose. Dugong is a one-hit with Brick Break, but she then sends in Slowbro. I call for Crunch and do just under half its health. It puts us to sleep with Yawn before I go for Focus Energy. We fall asleep, and it eventually does us in with 2 Ice Beams. It's worth pointing out that isn't a stab move on Slowbro, so it's probably the only reason we survived even one of them. This complicates things because I doubt we'll be able to one-hit Slowbro for a while yet. It's the grinding board then. I don't have a choice. I make another try at level 83. This one goes better, but there are a few hairy moments. Dugong goes down to Brick Break. I hit Slowbro with Double Edge, it survives with about a quarter of its health left and goes for Amnesia before she heals it. I go for Crunch before realising it's probably not going to do much, but thankfully I take it out next turn with Double Edge. Jinx is frail physically and goes down to Double Edge. Lapras narrowly survives Brick Break and confuses before we take it out at the second attempt thanks to her eating a berry and going out of healing range. Now Cloyster could probably end us, but her tactic, even when we're confused and can't attack, is to spam Protect over and over and over and over and over again. Barring her spikes at the start, that's all she does. We do land a Brick Break eventually, but Cloyster is physically strong and tanks it. She heals and I take her out with 2 Crunchers. It isn't so tanky special wise. Thank goodness that one is down. Next is Bruno, and this one doesn't concern me. Maybe this is false bravado. First Onix is not a problem. It goes down to a swift Brick Break. Hitmonchan goes down to Double Edge. Hitmonlee also goes down to Double Edge, but next is Machamp, who survives that move and hits a Scary Face and Cross Chop combo before we take it down with another Double Edge. Last is Onix number 2, who survives Brick Break and hits a few Earthquakes before we take it out with Crunch and Brick Break. Agatha is next, and at least all her Pokemon inflict physical damage with their stab types. Ghost, Poison and Flying were all physical in Gens 1 through 3. First Gengar goes down to 2 Crunchers, only using Double Team, which doesn't do it any good. Golbat goes down to Double Edge. Arbok is 2 hit with Double Edge but lands Screech, which means that Gengar number 2 is capable of inflicting decent damage on us with a couple of Sludge Bombs. Along with it putting us to sleep and using Nightmare, it means we go down eventually. So that's good to know. We're still not quite strong enough to face Agatha yet. I make another run through at level 87 to see if we have more fortune. The first part of the fight goes similarly versus Agatha, as Gengar goes down to 2 successful crunch and about 4 missed ones due to double team, and Golbat goes down to double edge. We hit Arbok hard with double edge and then it poisons us with sludge bomb before we take it out. Now, this isn't the worst thing in the world because if we can avoid fainting, it stops Gengar number 2 from putting us to sleep. Though it hits a couple of sludge bombs, we take it out with 2 crunches, and finally, with Icarus growing weak, he manages to put Haunter down with crunch. Next is Lance, and this one is worrying. Dragon-type moves are super effective against us. Sure, they are special in this game, but our special defense is low. Plus, we've got Gyarados' Intimidate to worry about. Considering our weakness, we do better than expected. We focus energy versus Gyarados and get hit with Dragon Rage and Twister, 2 hitting it narrowly with Double Edge. A crit Double Edge takes down the first Dragonair, though the second narrowly survives and paralyses us with Thunder Wave before Lance heals it. He then hits a devastating Outrage attack that leaves us weak before we finish it with 2 Brick Breaks. Versus Dragonite, we don't even get a chance to land a hit before Outrage takes us out. Back to the grinding board. At least, worst case scenario, I only have to grind up another 3 levels. I've got 9 rare candies, and so I can easily top off to level 100. Assuming, anyway, that the Pick Up Meowth Brigade doesn't find any more while we're grinding. I go back in at level 90. If this doesn't meet success, I'll burst up to level 100 and we'll see what happens. We weren't far off knocking Dragonair out with Double Edge, so we might be okay with these few more levels. There's always room for a little more luck. We don't really get it. Versus Gyarados, the fight stays the same, only we get hit with 2 Dragon Rage attacks as we focus energy and 2 hit it with Double Edge. The first Dragonair actually survives Double Edge, he heals it, we take it out with Crunch and Double Edge. The second Dragonair paralyses us and then hits a weak Hyper Beam before we take it out with Double Edge and Crunch. We don't get to land a blow on Dragonite once again as it knocks us out from pretty much full health with Outrage. Okay then, 2 things I'm going to do. I'm going to replace Focus Energy with Rock Slide for Gyarados and Dragonite, and I'm going to top off our level to 100, and then we'll have a proper smash at it, because we're close. Once we get Lance out of the way, I've still got Rod to worry about, but that's a future problem. Here are our stats once we've done all that. That attack stat is majestic. Defense and speed are pretty good. Special attack is okay, considering we've devoted nothing to it. Well, yeah, the defense is shocking, but it is what it is. Let's do this, Lance. Gyarados is first and gets 1 hit with Rock Slide. Dragonair number 1 gets 1 hit with Double Edge, and so does the second one. Dragonite, though, actually survives Rock Slide and hits Outrage. Oh, nuts. That leaves Icarus weak, even with a 40 level advantage before we take it out with Double Edge. Thankfully, we both outspeed and crit Aerodactyl with Brick Break to put us into the champion fight. Versus Rod, we fight like a dragon possessed. Pidgeot goes down to Double Edge, but unfortunately, Gyarados is next, so we get weakened with Intimidate. We take it out with a crit Rock Slide though. Alakazam comes out next, and we 1-hit it with Double Edge. So far, so good. Rhydon lands a Scary Face, but goes down to 2 Brick Breaks before Arcanine is next, weakening us further with Intimidate. We get tagged with 2 Flamethrowers, but knock it out with Rock Slide and Double Edge. Last is Venusaur, and it outspeeds, thanks to Scary Face, to put up Sunny Day. Uh-oh, I'm fully expecting to get annihilated by Solar Beam, but I land a Double Edge and crit Venusaur from full health to knock it out and win the run. Well, okay, I wasn't expecting that. I'll take it, but I wasn't expecting it. We enter the Hall of Fame, and that's just fabulous. Man, I didn't know what to expect with that. I wasn't expecting to get walled like I did versus Lance. Nice to see my rival prediction came true, that he would be the biggest problem throughout this run. I hope you enjoyed this. I still get a kick out of using Pokemon not in their native region. This was fun. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. Join me again next week for another Pokemon challenge. We're staying in Gen 3, but sashaying over to Hoenn. This one, I fear, is going to be brutal. Remember a few weeks ago when we took on Emerald with Growlithe? Well, next week, we're going to see if I can beat Pokemon Emerald with just a single Cyndaquil. That has the potential to be horrifying. We'll have to see. As always, if you have any sort of suggestions for future runs, drop them in the comments section. In the description, there are also links to my Twitter and my Discord where there's a Pokemon challenge section. Until that next time, take care of yourselves. If you're interested in the ravings of me, there's links to all my YouTube playlists in the description too. Well, I guess that's it. Until next time. Take care now, folks. Keep yourselves in a good place. Thank you so very much for watching. This has been Once and Future Gamer. Bye-bye now.